not that people are old, okay, but people are getting older. They have responsibilities. They have a life. They have to take care of their family. They go to work during the day, and then they have a little bit of time maybe after work to maybe come back, move their bodies, and look at fitness, air quotes. And rather than going to the gym, we're thinking, okay, there's a better way that people could possibly do this without having to go to the gym. They could still actually enjoy it. And Ryan, hey, let's come up with something and do that. And so that's kind of where it started, to be honest. And Jarlo and I had actually worked on a program before GMB together, which was yoga based. And so, but our very first program in GMB was actually rings based, and that was Rings 1. And that came about because Jarlo sent me a pair of gymnastics rings, and he was like, hey man, you should get back into doing some of that gymnastics stuff you used to do, but in a different way. And looking at guys our age who want to actually like enjoy fitness, you know, shouldn't there be a different way? And so that was kind of where it started. And we basically just wanted, you know, to make cool shit. That was kind of like our business plan. That was really it, you know, that was it. And it went well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I've used Rings 1 myself, and I just found the progressions really, really intuitive. They was challenging. You know, you suddenly realize you suddenly realize that the sheer joint stability that gymnasts have, you understand. Your body sends you very clear messages as soon as you get onto the ring. But there was a very scaled progression. So it sounds like, you know, having been through a major injury in your shoulders, and I've done judo until I was 18, and most of the injuries I carry myself now, whether it's my toe or my knees or my ankles or things like that, have come through being thrown against walls by accident and landed on and things. Yeah. So, and the thing is about rings is you only kind of get the chance to make a mistake once. Because if you're using your entire body weight in a shoulder, it can be challenging. And it was great fun to follow. And there was a sense of progression. So, I mean, you saw initial success with that program?
We did. So Jarlo and I are not business savvy, but one of my friends, Andy Fawcett, is. And so in the beginning, we actually, the three of us said, hey, let's start this company together. I think we had like a piece of paper and we wrote like, we'll split profit 3 ways, or, you know, whatever. And that's just kind of how it started. And we each kind of had our own roles, but we all wore multiple hats. And so, you know, the programming I would lay out, Jarlo would look at it, Andy would, you know, say, well, what about this way? And then we would look at how we want to present it. And we put everything online. And so we were one of the very first companies doing this online. And I think that was a big reason why, one of the reasons why it actually kind of took up. We were kind of the first people kind of doing it, you know, and also it was the rings. And there was 2 other places. There was actually just one other rings program at that time, and it was by an Olympian. And it was just basically videos of him doing his workouts. And so we, from the get-go, let people know, okay, listen, we're not trying to be gymnasts here, okay? We're using movements that helped me when I was a gymnast for conditioning. We're looking at in a way that it's going to help people that are like us, the 3 of us. And then Jarlo, as a doctor of physical therapy, had his view in saying, okay, and this is why this is good. And so we would create articles. We wrote so many articles and blog posts and shot videos. And I was so uncomfortable in front of the video because I'd never been in front of a video camera before, you know, and had to do YouTube videos. And so, you know, we really just put our effort into doing that. And it was our side hustle. This was not our main job, our jobs, you know, and we did that for quite a while. And we actually took our profit that we had to hire people to work for us rather than us taking a salary. And so we did that for quite a few years, and really, really focused on not just that product, but how can we always look and get better, and eventually worked towards creating a system, a method, and moved away from it just being about tricks or programs, if you will, and made it more about the method. And so even though we started with the rings, that's not our main focus right now. Our main focus is, how can I help you move better for the things you want to do in your life? It's not about doing more fitness. It's not about doing more exercise. It's about looking at what you need in order to help you to surf better, do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, play with your kids, you know?
Yeah. I
We're
think
looking
that's
at
it, because what
physical
I, sorry.
autonomy. Physical autonomy is our theme. That's what we're at.
Yeah.
Is
Well, I
just
mean,
looking
in
at
the
physical
end,
autonomy.
when you've earned that autonomy, kind of the rings are quite not easy, but they are much more intuitive.
Understandable. Exactly.
Understandable.
And
That's
so,
it. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And so you now actually have a language. It's like anything. I mean, because we're talking about language, or you could even look at music. You can't hope to just all of a sudden speak, right? There's a process. And unfortunately, a lot of people get hung up on looking at that sexiness of wanting to be able to speak fluent Spanish and say, okay, first off, we got to have this foundation. And first off, the most important thing is why? Why are you doing this? And the reason for that is because, you know, if you have that very, very strong why, and you know exactly why you want and you need this, there's certain things that you can cut out and actually not have to worry about, that are going to help you get you towards your path of physical autonomy more efficiently, and actually make it more fun. And really, that's the thing. And so that's why in G&B we don't have a standard double weight body, you know, a double weight barbell squat or something like that, because it's all dependent upon what you need. And it comes back also if we're looking at flexibility, because there's three things we're always looking at: strength, flexibility, mobility, which is a little bit different, of course, right? So, you know, flexibility is flexibility to movement. But we're also looking at motor control, which a lot of places, to be honest out there, kind of gloss over sometimes. And so this is a big proponent of what we're doing, is looking at how those three things need to work together in order to give you what you need for the things you enjoy in your life. And so that's why we're able to chunk these as well and say, okay, well, by going through the assessment that we have, you can see, okay, I'm lacking in strength. Therefore, this is something I can work on. I need better range of motion in my shoulders in order to X. Okay, therefore I'm going to do this. And so we're really looking at using the AAA framework, which is, you know, assess, address, and apply, which is our framework to being able to assess and see what you need, so that you can really, really get to the heart of your why and move towards that more efficiently.
I love that. Everything you've just said there. I've written loads down because I think about this a lot as well. And I've the similar sort of thing, but I always use stability, mobility, and motor control, and then, you know, so stability instead of strength. But it's a similar thing.
Sure.
You'll be able to hold
Absolutely.
the position, and then you get people into positions, and they're like, "Yep, yeah, I've got it. It's like, no, you haven't, because you can't breathe and all of that sort of stuff. I love that.
Exactly.
And the way I look at it is, and what you've just said, people can start where they're at, and that it's. I mean, this is how it should be, right? This is like, you know, how I think people, when they get into the industry or when they start off on a program, they want the thing, but then they realize actually to get to that, there's a roadmap. So if you go into Google Maps and type, I want to go to somewhere 100 miles away, you'll get 3 or 4 different routes, won't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can choose the fastest one if you want to get there quickly. You can choose the cross country if you don't want to go on the motorway or the highway or whatever. You can choose your way. And it's what I like about that is you make it so that people are, it's for you. Whoever you are, it is for you, and you make it your own. Now, the question I've got is, you went back to the rings. Your friend said, let's go back to the rings. What was that like after not doing it for years? Because obviously the people who we talk to on this podcast are going to be like, oh, I used to do stuff years ago. And then they're going to want to get back to that, right? Like, absolutely, instantly. Yes. So what was it like for you having competed in that?
It was tough. It was humbling. and well, especially the fact that, you know, I was coming off of the shoulder injury, but more so than that, I think that a lot of us still live in the, oh, I used to be able to do this, therefore it's going to be easy, like riding a bike.